Hey, YouTube fans. Yes, you know who it is. Alex St. Pierre here of Old Man Wrestling. Tonight, don't get excited. There is not a match tonight, okay? What I'm doing is tonight, Trev Bow over there, okay? Hey, Trev. Trev Bow kind of wanted a ringside chat, all right, with each one of the guys here at Old Man Wrestling. So we are affectionately calling this part one. CLD, Man Bear will be part two. Ravishing is part three. And if anybody else shows up, there'll be part four. We're hoping to see Dan show up. But tonight, Trev wanted to ask, or kind of wanted me just to talk about my history a little bit. And just to divulge a few things about myself, maybe give you a little background. I don't know how interesting it's going to be to the rest of you guys out there, but Trev, this one's for you, bud, so I hope you enjoy it. All right, Mr. Cameraman, can we pan around? So keep me in full view here, because they seem to like that. Right, you're right on top of me. You don't have to be right on top of me. Look at that. See that? Always going to tell the camera people something. All right, for you guys out there, the fans of Old Man Wrestling, or the old man himself, I grew up a wrestling fan. Loved it from the 60s. Yeah, that's how old I am. The 60s into the 70s. Watched it on TV. Been to a few live shows. And the odd thing about it was I always liked the jobbers. They were the underdogs. I rooted for them the whole time. And I always figured when I got into wrestling, I was going to be a jobber, okay? But you see where that's gone. That went in a different direction. Honestly, my first match that I ever participated in was against this guy in Haverhill, Mass. I won't go into his name because I don't even know if he's listening or whatever. But that was when I was 15. That's when I first started. It was a blast, and I fell in love with it ever since then. And the odd, not an odd thing, but people have always said, why do you always wear the Speedos or the swimsuits or the trunks or whatever? I love wearing the Speedos. Just do. If I could wear them all the time, I would. Other people might not like it, but that's other people. I don't care. But that's just one of my little things. I love performing in the Speedo. I'm trying to find the rope back here if you didn't notice. Just, that type of thing. Kind of covering a little history. Growing up, one of my most favorite wrestlers of all time was superstar Billy Graham. That's probably where, when you do the flexing, I'm always thinking of the superstar, okay? Later on, kind of picked up Ric Flair, but no one will take the place of superstar. One of my most favorites. That's where it all comes from. My theatricalness and everything else, part of me, but it's coming from that man, the great man himself. Let's see. I don't want to make it too long so it's boring. Oddly enough, one of my favorite type of matches, and you might find this one hard to believe, it's when I get bloody. It is fun to portray that aspect of the match. The bleeding, the punishment, the rallying to win or not to win, but it's just something that I've always had fun with that aspect. So being in the ring with these guys, and especially the other night, being a villain, it was fun to go back to some of my roots. Because when I started wrestling, or not started, but when I was in the nightclubs and such, doing it back then, and a couple of other TV shows, I was a villain, and I like being a villain. But there's just something about a villain losing that just makes people smile. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to kind of sum it up to a small thing. What I would love to see in Old Man Wrestling here is we get one or two older guys to show up and work with me. Got the young studs out there. We got the Ravishings. We got the Bear. Got that. But I'd like to see a couple of older guys. Other than that, I'm hoping that you guys really just enjoy what we're doing. Okay? That's a little history about myself. Not much. If you want to know more, contact us. I'll tell you more, but I don't know what's boring and what isn't. We had a new request besides Trev's. Trev, you've been a great fan, and make a request for a match, Trev. I want to see a match from you. We had this Mr. Ram fan. he talked about, he doesn't comment much, but he talked about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of flexes for him. And Mr. Cameraman, he wanted to see a couple of close-ups. So maybe if you could do a close-up on it, just to appease the audience. It's fan, it's Fan Appreciation Month. All right, Mr. On Fan, and for the rest of you who seem to like it, there again, this is what a 60-year-old looks like, and soon to be 61. All right? So, guys, keep the requests coming, and stay tuned, because next week, Man Bear himself is going to be giving you a little history. Till then, you guys stay safe, and we'll see you at the next show. Have a good night.